Tommy Fury came up victorious in last night's bout, but how close actually was the fight? So in round 1, we saw 2 different game plans being set up for the rest of the fight. Tommy was setting up his jab and minding Jake's jab, trying to avoid it. And Jake, well, he just wanted a hug. Now, in the second round, we saw Jake sort of get it more into the fight. I still would score at Tommy's round, though. But Jake, we saw promising things from Jake, putting more pressure on, hitting some more dangerous punches. If they were connected properly, Tommy could have been in trouble. Then in the third round is the first round that I would give to Jake Paul. Now, Jake Paul hit him with a left hand, and it didn't rock him, but I feel like it made Tommy realise I'm taking this too lightly, in my opinion. Fourth round, I would have probably given it a draw, because I believe that was when Jake Paul got the points deducted. If I'm not mistaken, it might have been the fifth round, but yeah, I'd probably given it a draw or a Tommy win. But I'm really confused why the referee took points off of Jake and not Tommy for the round before, because obviously Tommy hit him with a back of the head like cleanly, whereas Jake was just a little tap in the back of the head in the clinch, which is why I was a bit confused. But he evened out in like the 7th round or the 6th round when Tommy got a point deducted for holding on too long. Now in the 5th round is, like I say, I might be wrong, is when Tommy got his point deducted and we saw Jake Paul win that round. Jake Paul looked strong, he looked menacing. He knew after that point got deducted, he had to go all for the knockout. Didn't get the knockout, but he certainly won that round. And then Tommy Fury, I'm going to skip the next 2 rounds. I think it was round 7 or round 8. Tommy Fury got knocked down. Now I say that in inverted commas because it wasn't a knockdown. If you watch it, he slipped as he gets jabbed. So it's a bit unfair to call it a knockdown, but I mean it's what the judges think, not us. But it was clearly a slip. So my prediction was wrong. I said 4th round, Tommy wins. Now I'm surprised by Jake Paul. Jake Paul's a warrior, Jake Paul's a tough fighter, and I respect him highly after that fight. He took some really heavy shots from Fury. He gave Fury some really heavy shots. He survived the full 8 rounds. People are saying it's rigged. People are saying Tommy deserved to lose. People are saying all kinds of things. But that's always going to happen in boxing. You have a big fight. There's always going to be people that disagree with you. Always going to be people that agree with you. Tommy Fury also came out and said after the fight that he respects Jake and he's tougher than he fought. Now, I could have predicted he was going to say that before the fight because most of his opponents say that. But it's weird that he chose to take it lightly, if you know what I mean. He was like, oh, it's a YouTuber, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Now, obviously, we saw Jake deal a bit of damage to Tommy, his left eye. It was after we saw the replay by a headbutt, not an intentional headbutt, but as he was dodging, he came back up, headbutted Tommy in the left side, just above his eyebrow, I think, or on his eyebrow. So that sort of gave Jake a bit more confidence going into the latter stages of the fight because he's like, I can damage out of my right hand. Jake Paul has a really strong right hand. That's what he was setting up the whole game. You saw him kind of throwing haymakers at one point. It was a weird fight. It was a good fight. I knew Tommy was going to win, but I didn't think it'd be that close. So fair play to Jake, respect to Jake. This is just kind of my overview breakdown of the rounds. I know I skipped round 6, but I personally, I can't think of anything that happened. I just wanted to get onto the knockdown that wasn't actually a knockdown because that's why people are saying it's rigged. It shouldn't be that close because it wasn't a knockdown. The referee let them clinch too long. The referee wasn't amazing in my opinion. Deducted a point off Tommy for hugging, but he clearly had his arms out at all time, spread across like I ain't holding him. He still took a point off, which is weird, but gave Jake that little bit of hope, made the fight a bit more interesting. So yeah, that was my overview of the fight, breakdown of the rounds, kind of how my prediction was wrong. And in April, I'll probably cover the Joe Joyce versus Zhang fight. I'm not sure how you say his name. Sorry if I butchered that. So obviously in April again, I think it's April 23rd or 13th, not too sure. We have Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin, so I'll probably cover that as well. And whenever the Fury Usyk fight gets announced, whatever day that'll be, I'll also be covering that as well. There should be more boxing content coming. However, not a lot of decent boxing fights coming up. I know Jay Swingler's got his fight on Misfits, but I'm not too sure whether I can be bothered to cover that because it's not as interesting as like the other fights. If it was a bigger main event, I would, but we'll see as it gets closer to the time. So yeah, that was my overview and breakdown of the Tommy Fury fight and a bit of like what I'm going to do with this boxing side. There might be some basketball content, not sure, because I know people voted that they do want to see it. Not too sure yet though. But yeah, thank you all guys so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.